Did you know that some Washington quarters, those everyday coins in your pocket, could be worth thousands, tens of thousands, or even millions of dollars? That's right. In today's video, we're revealing the top ultra super rare and most valuable Washington quarters that have stunned collectors and set auction houses on fire. What if I told you that a regular 25-cent coin from 1979, one that might be hiding in your change jar right now? Yes, you heard that right. The 1979 D Washington quarter, a coin minted by the millions, holds a shocking secret, rare mint errors and overlooked details that turn this everyday coin into a numismatic goldmine. By 1979, the U.S. Mint was well into the era of clad coinage, which began in 1965 when silver was removed from quarters. The 1979 Washington quarter was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; San Francisco, S mint mark for proofs. Why the 1979 D quarter stands out among error coins? 1979 wasn't just any year. It was a transitional period in U.S. minting history. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was introduced. The mint was experimenting with die designs and metal blank quality. Die fatigue, misalignment, and overused equipment resulted in several extremely rare error coins. The 1979 D Washington quarter is now known for hosting a variety of dramatic, high-value minting errors, some of which can command up to 6 figures at auction. Top rare 1979 D error quarters and their values. Let's break down the most valuable 1979 D Washington quarter errors, what they look like, and how much they're worth. 1979 D off metal strike, on a silver planchet or foreign coin planchet. This is the rarest and most valuable error type for the 1979 D quarter. Some 1979 D quarters were accidentally struck on silver planchets or foreign coin blanks. These off-metal strikes are extremely rare and can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Money bag value, $12,000 to $25,000 in circulated condition, $65,000 to $125,000 in mint state. One example sold privately for nearly $250,000. Some expert estimates suggest that top-graded, silver planchet errors could exceed $1 million at auction. Double die obverse, DDO. A double die obverse occurs when the coin die itself has been engraved twice at slightly different angles, leading to visible doubling on key features. Minor DDO, $50 to $300, strong DDO, with visible separation $3,500 to $7,500, verified MS66 DDO, $12,000 to $25,000, if a new, dramatic variety is discovered, could fetch $50,000 plus. 1979 D off center strike, 5 to 10% off, $100 to $300, 15 to 25% off, $500 to $1,000 plus, over 30%. Clear date $2,500 to $5,000. 1979 D broad strike error. A broad strike occurs when the coin is struck without the retaining collar, causing it to spread out wider than normal. XFAU, $100 to $250, MS64, MS66, $500 to $1,200. Clipped planchet error. This occurs when the metal strip used to make planchets is misaligned during cutting, leading to a visible bite missing from the coin. Dramatic clip with visible date, $300 to $800, multiple clips, $1,500 plus. Die breaks and cut errors. A cut error happens when a piece of the die breaks off, resulting in a raised blob or lump of metal on the coin. Small die cracks, $30 to $100, large cuts, $250 to $750. Dramatic die failure, $1,000 to $2,500, auction highlights and real sales. Let's look at actual sales of 1979 D error quarters to prove these values are real. White heavy checkmark 1979 D quarter on silver planchet, mint error, sold for $17,625 at Heritage Auctions. White heavy checkmark off center strike, 20%, in MS65, sold for $1,200. White heavy checkmark broad strike error in MS66, sold for $880. White heavy checkmark clipped planchet with full date, sold for $560. Collectors are paying top dollar for these error coins, and prices are only going up as awareness spreads. The rare and mysterious 1965 Washington quarter errors. These coins, minted in the middle of a dramatic change in U.S. coinage history, contain some of the most valuable minting mistakes ever discovered. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the top rare 1965 era quarters, explain exactly what makes them so valuable, and show you how you might just have one sitting in a drawer or pocket right now. The year 1965 was one of the most historic and chaotic periods in American coin production. The US government was facing a coin shortage, mainly because people were hoarding silver coins due to rising silver prices. So, Congress passed a law in 1965 that changed everything. Silver was removed from dimes and quarters. The new coins were struck using clad copper-nickel layers, instead of the traditional 90% silver. No mint marks were used from 1965 to 1967 to prevent hoarding. This transition period created a perfect storm for errors, especially with machinery and planchets not yet fully adapted to the new materials. The result? Some of the most valuable and collectible error quarters ever minted. DNA rarest and most valuable 1965 quarter errors. 1965 quarter struck on a 90% silver planchet. In circulated condition, $3,500 to $7,500. In MS-64, MS-66, $12,000 to $35,000. Finest known MS-67 examples, $85,000 to over $125,000. One sold at auction for nearly $140,000, and some experts believe a proof like MS-68 Plus specimen could reach $1 million in the future. White heavy checkmark 1965 quarter struck on a dime planchet. $2,000 to $6,000 in circulated condition, $10,000 plus in higher mint states. One certified MS-65 example sold for $13,500. 1965 quarter double die obverse, DDO, $1,000 to $2,500 in lower grades. MS-63 plus, $7,500 to $10,000. Ultra-rare MS-66 plus could go well beyond $25,000. 1965 transitional off-metal errors. Some 1965 quarters were struck on older planchets meant for 1964 coinage, such as known examples, $6,000 to $25,000 depending on the error type and grade. How these errors happened? You might be wondering, how could such massive mistakes happen? The answer lies in the volume and speed of coin production during 1965. The mint was under pressure to produce billions of new clad coins. Old silver blanks from 1964 were still lying around. Planchets from other coins, even foreign contracts, were mistakenly loaded into machines. No mint marks were used, making it harder to track production errors. These factors led to a perfect storm for error coins, many of which went unnoticed for decades. Auction records and famous sales. Collectors and investors go wild over rare 1965 errors. Check out these real auction results. 1965 silver quarter graded MS-66, sold for $12,650. 1965 quarter on dime planchet MS-65, sold for $13,500. 1965 DDO quarter MS-66, estimated value $25,000 plus. Raw ungraded silver quarter found in circulation, bought for $7,000 from a collector. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that you spent years tossing in jars, sliding into vending machines, or even using to scratch a lottery ticket. What if I told you that a single overlooked flaw on a 1983p quarter could turn your pocket change into a goldmine? Stay with me till the end of this video, because today, we're diving deep into one of the most underrated but jaw-droppingly valuable coins ever minted in the US, the 1983p Washington quarter with errors so rare, they make collectors go wild and auction prices skyrocket. Why the 1983p quarter is so special? In 1982 and 1983, due to economic constraints, the US Mint did not produce any official mint sets. This means that finding uncirculated specimens from those years is incredibly difficult. Most 1983 quarters entered circulation immediately, suffering nicks, scratches, and wear. Collectors seeking pristine 1983p quarters were out of luck, unless they found one in change or bought sealed bank rolls. But the real treasure lies in error coins from this year. Fire extinguisher top 1983p quarter errors that are worth big money. Let's dive into the rarest, most jaw-dropping errors discovered on the 1983p Washington quarter, the off-center strike error. Minor off-center errors, 5 to 10%, $50 to $200, major off-center errors, 50% or more, with full date showing $1,000 to $5,000, perfect off-center strikes with visible date and no major wear, over $10,000. The double die reverse, DDR, error, mild DDR examples, $500 to $2,500, strong DDR examples in mint state, $10,000 to $15,000, ultra-high grade DDRs, MS-67 or better up to $25,000 or more. Clipped planchet error, this error occurs when the blank planchet was not fully punched from the metal strip, leaving a visible curved or crescent-shaped clip on the edge. Typical clipped planchet, $100 to $500, larger and perfectly shaped clips, $1,000 plus, wrong planchet error, transitional metal error, misstruck on dime planchet, $5,000 to $10,000, misstruck on foreign planchets, $10,000 to $30,000, unique examples, auctioned for $50,000 or more, missing clad layer, copper core exposed, with partial clad missing, $300 to $800, with full missing clad layer and uncirculated condition, $2,000 to $5,000, graded examples with mint luster, over $10,000. The most expensive 1983 P quarter ever sold, one of the most famous examples of the 1983 P double die reverse error in high mint state sold for over $15,000 at auction. But collectors estimate that ultra-high-grade DDRs or double errors, such as DDR plus missing clad, could easily fetch $25,000 to $100,000, especially if the coin is certified by PCGS or NGC with a top population grade. And if a brand new undiscovered variation comes into play, like a triple error or rare transitional mistake, the value could skyrocket past $500,000 or even $1 million, as has happened in other U.S. coin series. Brain tips to identify a rare 1983 P quarter: look for strong doubling on the reverse, especially lettering and feathers. Inspect the edges for missing clad layer or unusual coloring. Use a magnifying glass or loupe to spot minor off-center or planchet flaws. Compare your coin to images of known DDR examples. Weigh your coin. A typical clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams. Any significant deviation might hint at a planchet or metal error. Toolbox tools you'll need: digital scale, accurate to 0.01 G. Jeweler's loupe or 10x magnifying glass. PCGS PhotoGrade or Coinfax app. Lighting and macro camera, for documentation. Professional coin grading service, PCGS or NGC, submission access.